is Exhausted 707. I am China Sky, and this is...
Noah Nippens.
And
Podcast edition.
This is our first podcast ever.
If you didn't know that you were listening to a podcast, this is a podcast.
Noah is a car guy,
Yep.
and I am a car girl in training.
Yep.
And so we decided to start a show where I go and learn car things, car facts, car
Yep.
stuff, car history,
Yep.
and I bring it to Noah. And we see if he knows it or not, which is very exciting.
It's probably going to be me not knowing most of it. I know very specific car things, but it'll still be a fun opportunity for everyone else to learn things and for you and me. Okay.
And if anyone listening has any suggestions of car things I should be learning, please
That's a good idea.
let us know. Write it in.
Yeah.
Tell us what to do. For today, I decided to start with just like the basics. What is a car and what was the first car? Do you know, honey? Do you know?
I don't know who the first person. I'm not gonna lie. I've never been someone that's memorized people's names. I do know that there was a big fight between what is a automobile. Like, is it a gas powered? Is it steam powered? Is it electric powered? We actually had a lot of cars that were powered by electricity, earlier than Teslas. We had early Ford models and stuff that were being done with electric motors. But I don't know, actually, the first one.
Well, we're going to talk about all that today.
Really?
Yeah. So when I was looking things up, I found there seems to be a big debate in the car world over what the first car ever was, but that's also due to like what do we consider the first car? Is it the first modern car? Is it the first thing with wheels that was ever made? It's the debate is what is considered the first car based on what makes a car.
Right.
Also, like the fight seems to be like a lot of the car world is really based on national pride, it seems. So like
Surprising.
yeah, so it's like, oh, America's the best, no, Germany's the best, no, so like a lot of places seem to take credit for the things, but what I discovered is it kind of seems like a cool moment in history where it took the whole world to get us to how we have cars today.
So the whole world made the car.
Basically the whole world made parts of the car that made the modern car that we know today. Yeah, right? So we will start our story with Ancient Man.
Ancient man, secret, ancient, Atrian.
That worked well.
I did.
So, since the dawn of man, we've always been looking for ways to find transportation, to make things easier than just our two legs, right? So, technically, if you want to say, like, the first cars we ever were looking for were animals. We used animals. And...
Yeah, I disagree with that one. That's. I'm gonna go automobile, a mobile that is automatic. Oh, damn, I guess all right, never mind.
Yeah. And I was going to talk about that, too. The phrase automobile comes from the French and Latin terms for... Yes, automatic, like something that moves itself by itself and moving. Yeah,
Wow.
That's basically what we're looking at.
So I've been a fan of
animals were the first automobiles, but technically
You
speaking.
can't mod your animal. Oh my god, you can.
And,
selective breeding. Oh my gosh, this is going crazy.
And also talking about modding your animals, that brings us to the Native Americans who gave us the travois, which is basically, it's like a strong wooden frame. That's basically like two sticks that you put over, like a horse or
like an
ox
elephant or something like that.
You put these two sticks over it, and then the animal can now carry things for you. So that was basically our first cart. That was our first way of modding an animal.
Yeah, they put armor on them too.
Yeah.
And stuff. Wow.
So that came from the Native Americans.
OG
V8s. And then the Greeks invented gears, and the Romans gave us roads, and around 3,500 BC, we got the wheel. And so then the first, like, car designs that we ever had were from Guido von Vigevano.
Guido. Wow.
Guido von Vigevano?
Wait, who's the
Guys,
first one?
I will fully probably say these things wrong.
Try. Guido von Vigevano. Vigevano.
Yes, Guido von Vigevano.
We're gonna stop doing that. Take out a couple of those.
1335, made the Windwagen. The first mention of an engine and gears and wheels.
Wow.
And then, of course, you know this one, Leonardo da Vinci made the clockwork car between the 1400s and 1500s. But these were just designs. They weren't made.
Right.
These were ideas that were already put forth into the world for automobiles as we now know them.
Yeah.
So, here's where things get interesting. Technically speaking, if you want to say the first automobile as a machine that we know, the first one that I could find was made by a man named Ferdinand Verbiest, and he invented the first car in 1672.
Wow.
He was a missionary working in China for the emperor there, and he wanted to make him a car, but it was a toy car. It was very small, and it was powered by steam, but it worked. It had a steam turbine, and it fully worked, even though it was a toy car. So some people consider this the very first car because it was the first one that worked. Even though it was a toy car, it was not to be used. You didn't drive it.
Yeah. But
it worked. The concept worked, and it was the first one made, and he made it for the Emperor of China. So it was a toy technically, but aren't cars still just toys?
Yeah, it's just a 64th sized toy.
But this idea that Ferdinand had actually came from another man named Giovanni Branca, who this guy was really cool. Like, you guys should look this guy up. He invented so many things, and basically that idea for the steam turbine for what powered this small first car came from his steam turbine. Wait, what was it? Hold on, I messed up, guys. It was a stamping mill. He designed a steam powered stamping mill.
Okay.
So it wasn't a car, but like this engine, this steam power, that he patented for a stamping mill, and he made like a bunch of inventions that we still use today, or inspired things we use today, that helped with like lumber mills, and they pumped water and all these things.
Do you know any off the top of your head? Or do you remember? You're not backing me up with a lot of exciting things.
I mean, stamping mill is like
stamping's not exciting to me.
As
a car guy, stamping
for the world and what that did for everything.
I get you, printing press, maybe all that stuff.
I
don't know.
But basically, this guy was a really great inventor, and he got like no credit. He was very humble and all this stuff. But like, if you look him up, he was really cool to look up. So everybody look up Giovanni Branca.
We'll put the link for him or his name.
Yeah. But the idea of that steam engine that Ferdinand used came from Giovanni Branca.
All right. So that everybody's stealing other people's stuff. Saying, hey, I know a use for this. I could, take your stamps and motor and put it into something that's transportive.
Yeah, well, then we run into this huge list of guys who just added one thing and the next thing and the next thing that eventually make what we know of as the car. 1769, the first self-propelled car by Nicholas Joseph Cugnot. Francis Isaac de Rivas invented the first internal combustion engine in 1804.
1804. Wow, that's not even long ago. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The engines that we... But also still find it interesting to think that we still use ICE. By the way, if anyone says internal combustion engine, ICE engines, it's just crazy that we're just now starting to really, efficiently go towards electric models and something away from those.
So funny, because my next fact was about the first electric car.
No way.
In 1881.
You guys, I really don't know what's going on over here. She's just giving me stuff, and I'm just here for the ride, like you guys.
Well, people were finding that though steam was kind of the norm at that time, it's what we really started with, steam was inconvenient and impractical. So Gustave Trouve invented the first electric car in 1881. Gustave Trouve patented no fewer than 300 inventions.
No fewer. Don't get it twisted, people. No fewer than 300. Wow. I've got 0.
Oh, wait. I got Gustave Trouve.
One patent pending.
I might have to fix this in post,
brain.
guys. Gustave Trouve was actually the one I was talking about, not Giovanni Branca. I confused myself. Giovanni Branca was also cool, and he did give us the idea for the steam powered, but the one who invented a ton of things and like died with no one knowing and stuff like that was Gustave Trouve. He was very cool. He invented...
He's truly unknown.
Yeah.
There. everything's been fixed.
But he was like a modest guy, so you know what? He didn't even care. He just wanted to invent his stuff. But yeah, he invented. It was basically an electric tricycle, and it was the
dangerous.
forerunner for electric cars and boats. Also the LED bulb. Like he kind of gave us the basis for that. And he was, you know, ahead of his time on looking for environmentally friendly options as opposed to steam and gas.
Is steam not environmentally friendly?
I think that it was so that I probably need to look more up, but like apparently steam was just really inconvenient and caused a lot of issues, and I think to power it,
water is heavy, so like transporting
it caused
water.
a lot of. I mean, and also like I wonder if like using too much water, like especially if you're like in places like California where it's a desert, depending on how you're getting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first electric car. So take that, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tesla.
What was their 0 to 60?
I don't know. 0 to 60.
Okay, I'm going back to Tesla then for my 0 to 60. F the tricycle.
Now we will come to what a lot of people consider the first modern car, which this is the one that I think most people would know. In 1901, Mercedes, designed by Wilhelm Maybach.
Oh yeah.
Maybach?
William Maybach.
Am I saying it correct?
Yeah.
Wilhelm.
Wilhelm? That's what it is?
Yeah.
It's not William?
Wilhelm.
Wow, this whole time.
Wilhelm Maybach.
Wilhelm.
I'm probably saying that very wrong, but I like saying
that
to Noah. Wilhelm.
Okay, we're going to take that
Maybach.
No one will know.
This is fun for me to try to say.
Wait, say that again. I have my hand on the chips.
Okay, why are you eating chips during the podcast?
Sorry.
Stop crunching. He's eating the crunchiest thing you could possibly eat.
Super not crunchy.
Very crunchy. All right, but I'm going to try to pronounce this. For Daimler Motoren Gesellschaft. Gesellschaft.
Yeah, sure.
But in all essentials, this was considered the first modern motor car. It had 35 horsepower, 14 pounds per horsepower, and a top speed of 53 miles per hour. Oh, wow. Yeah. So that one's considered by most people the first modern automobile, like what we would consider. In 1900, Maybach's radiator was a honeycomb radiator was patented, and on the 22nd of November that same year, the first Mercedes 35 PS was completed in Cannstatt. There's so many things I can't say, but I look up.
It's going to be most of the car world for us is all being like, this is how you say it. And then England's like, it's a Prius. You're like, damn it, what?
It's a Prius.
Can't say that in America. That's what I learned, though.
But here's one of the main stories that I wanted to talk about today because I think it's cool. So...
It's emotional. You had to breathe. You had to breathe in. Get it going. I was almost going to grab for more chips, but I didn't. Sorry.
Wait, I just lost where... Where was I? Went back up to say... Okay, alright, hold on.
Oh.
We're going to edit all this.
Okay.
So, as we talked about, gas was actually third to steam and electric cars in the beginning. Even though it eventually was the one that we all know took over. And the gas-powered car, a lot of that credit goes to Carl Benz. I feel like we all recognize that name. Now, here's the cool thing about Carl Benz to me, was learning about his wife, Bertha Benz, because there's not a lot of ladies in the history of cars, and I got very excited as a lady myself, learning about his wife. So at that time, Bertha could not be named as a co-inventor on the patent because under German law, you couldn't be. But she was his muse and business partner, and he wouldn't have been able to do anything that he did without her because she paid for it all.
I didn't know.
She had the family money, and even though a lot of people frowned down upon this because he was an inventor and no one ever knew what he was doing, she always supported him in this and was like, I will give you everything I can so that you can make these things because I believe in you and you're going to make the world great. And she was very involved. So in 1885, Carl had just finished work on his horseless carriage that he called the motor wagon. But Carl seems like he was kind of a perfectionist, and he was really nervous about letting this car be seen, trying to put it on the road, seeing how it could work, without everything being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And Bertha was like, nah, we're getting this thing on the road. We need to get traction. We need to make, I think
Just get on the road. It doesn't matter if it's safe or not. Just
also
the original adrenaline junkie.
I think it's about time we make money and stop spending money.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in what you did.
Okay.
So Bertha decides that while he's sleeping, she's just going to take the car.
Okay.
So
It's going a different direction.
she leaves
I thought
him
while
a
he's
note.
sleeping.
No, this is not a true crime podcast. So while he's sleeping, she leaves him a note that basically says, "Hey, I'm going to my mom's, and I'm taking the car, and I'm taking her kids, and we'll be back. Love you. Get some sleep." And so she leaves on the first ever road trip, basically.
Oh.
And she's taking this thing that seems like a monster, like a demonic thing, through this town that has never seen anything like this before. And actually, one of the references is there's like a recreation of this. They made like a YouTube short film of her first ride, but it was actually really interesting to watch. But it's very funny, like the car's coming and all the townspeople are like, "It's Satan! What is this?"
Oh, because they didn't know why the car
Yeah,
was
because they didn't know
moving.
what it was. Like, the world had never seen anything like this. Like, they were still using horse-drawn carriages. And so, like, this thing was moving on its own, and this woman,
Oh,
it wasn't
God.
even a man, there was
Oh,
this woman
no.
who, it was like, this witch
Oh, no.
was driving this thing. She was in control of this thing that didn't need a horse
Wow.
to function.
That was not...
Now imagine the problems that you run into on a road trip these days, like filling up for gas, running out of gas, like all the things that can even still happen. So she's on the first one ever, and of course things are going wrong. This is the first car ever. She's taking it a huge drive.
And this guy's asleep this whole time?
Yeah, he's asleep. So the car she was driving was a Model 3, which
With the
only
kids?
had... Yeah,
With the
she's got the
kids?
kids with her.
Crazy.
Which only had 2 gears. It had no fuel tank and a 4.5 liter supply of petrol in the carburetor. So they weren't very far when she had to stop for more petrol. And the only substance available was ligroin.
French for le groin, like my groin.
No,
It's sexual.
no, it's not.
No?
It's a petroleum solvent.
Ah, okay.
And it was only available at the apothecary, because we still called pharmacies apothecaries back in that day.
Badass.
And so, like, they had to make a lot of stops at apothecaries. So that was their first issue, right? And then, so as they're going, the next issue pops up.
Of dysentery.
We might want to pause for a second, because I gotta find
The
the...
Oregon Trail.
How did this get so out of order?
I don't know, honey. This is your jurisdiction. I'm just here for the Oregon Trail ride, trying not to get dysentery or lose a wheel or lose my ox in a river with all my kids. This lady was the original Oregon Trail for the road. And can I ask, did she come back? Did she return?
She did return.
Look at that. Dads who said that they were going to go out and just going to go for a quick drive, and they never came back.
Oh, also when they left, they had to push it down the road to start it.
Uh-huh.
So they left because they didn't want him to hear. So like they quietly left. They pushed the car down the
Wow.
road and then started it.
Straight deception.
Yeah, but she was also like, "Let's do this."
What if he
Stop
woke
hiding
up?
it."
What if he woke up and was like, "She took my kids in my car, and I can't even text her."
And the journey was 60 miles.
So flat out, she get there in like almost an hour. She didn't have any problems.
So hold on, we're getting to the problems.
Sorry, she's doing history.
So-
I'm thinking about speed.
She had to make several repairs to the motor wagon during the time of the journey. She used her garter to repair the ignition and a hat pin to clean a blocked fuel pipe. And then the wooden brakes on the motor wagon failed at one point, and she asked a cobbler to install leather replacements.
What's a cobbler?
A
Peach
cobbler? You never heard of cobbler?
No.
Like they repair things like shoes. They cobble
Really?
shoes and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. It's a tasty sounding profession.
And so Bertha created / kind of invented the first ever replacement brake pads with those leather doohickey she made
Interesting.
from the cobbler.
And she just invented this on the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was just like, look, I got 60 miles to go.
So the guy
I gotta fucking problem solve. There were wooden brakes on it, but they failed. So she fixed it with these leather patents that she got from the cobbler.
Oh, wow.
Like, this lady was badass. She's using her hairpin. She's using her garter. She's like, we're not fucking stopping. Or I don't know if I can say, we're not freaking
Why do you keep
stopping.
saying this? You keep saying the F word.
I do?
You've said it like 4 times.
I have?
In the last 10 seconds, yes.
I didn't even know.
You went crazy when you started to talk about her undergarments and things.
I went crazy when I talked about her.
Yeah, you started effing this and effing that all the time.
Because she's really cool, okay? She's really cool.
Just saying, we're trying to make this on Disney Channel, so...
Oh, okay. And then when she arrived, she notified Carl by telegraph that she had arrived safely and everything was good. And so eventually he was inducted into the Automotive Hall of Fame, obviously for his inventions, for his mark on the automotive world. But she was the first ever woman to be inducted too because of this historic journey that she took.
I was going to say, she better have been on.
Pretty awesome, yeah.
I wouldn't have been surprised, though, if they decided, garbage truck outside. I just got an emotional time going on, and you are just angrily
We're talking about your predecessor's garbage truck?
Yeah, seriously. There would be no garbage truck if it weren't for this chick. And
for Bertha
Benz. Bertha frickin' Benz. And now
it's the only alliteration that's ever made the name Bertha sound not so bad.
Bertha Benz, yeah. You got Mercedes-Benz in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's Merc, Berth. It kind of rhymes. Bertha, Mercedes.
Yeah.
Where did we get the Mercedes?
And most everything that we've talked about is before America even entered the picture. But America is definitely given a ton of credit because we made the automobile affordable. Thank you, Ford.
Oh, really? And now my cats are scratching. You guys, this is...
Well, I think this is about the end of
first episode
the information.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I guess that's the end of the information for all of you. Tune in next time to find out what I don't know. Although I drive cars fast, I don't know any of the history of them. But, yeah.
Thank you for joining us. This is Exhausted 707, and I am China Sky.
And I'm Noah Nevins.
And if you would like to tell us anything that we should learn about cars, please let us know. We are learning here.
I love cars.
Oh, yes, and follow us on Instagram. It's also Exhausted707, Exhausted_707, and you can see the car we drive and all of the events we go to because we go
to rallies, we track the car, we drag the car, we put it in pretty dresses. It's great, a lot of fun. We put it also in drag radials. Hey, we did actually dress the car up one time and put it in wrapping paper, so that was fun until it flew off at 150 miles an hour. I gotta learn how to, if we ever have problems, just fix them with my hairpin or my garter. That's true. I don't think anything can be fixed on the Hellcat with, oops, I gave it away, with a hairpin. But I'm pretty sure everybody here follows us. But if not, yeah, go follow us on Instagram. Cool. Thanks. See you next time.